if I want that skin, I really would like to be able to not have had to pre-order the game 5 years ago and I missed it, you know?
Especially because a lot of them aren't even like that. Did we mention that Dan's not here again? Did we
He is
mention that?
not here again. It sounds right because I've never been to the second floor of Macy's, but that feels like what they'd put there.
Yeah,
you
I feel
know?
like it's just a whole bunch of luggage for some reason.
I didn't hear you clap either
I
time.
didn't hear you clap either. I think Discord's just doing something where it's like, yeah, loud noises are canceled.
Boo.
And that's not me saying like canceled like James. That's me saying like they were literally like canceled out like by the audio processor. It's probably like a noise gate that's set up.
Yeah.
Which is useful, I suppose, for
It's useful for every other thing.
Clap syncing.
Let's see.
I mean, the clap sync isn't for our remote.
Aha. So crisp noise suppression. Make some noise, like clapping your hands while speaking, and your friends will hear nothing but your voice. I don't want that. I'm going to turn that off.
I don't mind it.
Okay, fine. I'll turn it back on.
Did you say, okay, fine, I'll leave it on?
Yeah.
You can. I don't care if you turn it off.
I mean, let's test it. Can you hear me clapping right now? Because I'm clapping and talking.
No, I can't.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Wait, keep doing it.
I'm clapping and talking. Everyone who's listening to the podcast can hear the clapping.
I can hear a tiny bit. I can hear like a little clapping.
You know what? That's actually pretty cool. Never mind. That's pretty cool. But now everyone who listens to the podcast has to hear me clapping to make a point, and that's frustrating. And I'm sorry for all of you, but
wait, no, can you hear me clapping?
I heard a tiny bit of a clap at the end of that.
Oh, that's so cool.
That actually is pretty neat.
Wait, Mario, can you hear me clapping? Oh. Okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Why computer no work? How do I turn on book?
Father, I cannot click the book.
Oh, what a good day. So, how are you doing today?
It's been 2 minutes. And we haven't even, none of this is really usable. Some of it might be slightly usable.
Oh, my guy. I just got a COVID test. This is all usable. I don't feel good at all. Everything's staying in this episode.
No cuts.
No cuts, no edits. All raw, unfiltered, off the air content.
Yeah, that's right. This episode, we're going to say, fuck.
Whew, I'm glad you didn't finish. I would have had to edit that out.
You can edit that together. Now you have audio. Me saying the F word, something I would never do. Fuck.
You never would. You're much classier than that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm one of those like people who's like, oh yes, I think swearing makes humor less effective. Shut up.
Man, I hate when people say that.
It's like just sometimes it's like adding salt.
Sometimes it's true. Sometimes people are just a little too excessive.
Yeah,
but other times
aren't funny in the first place.
Exactly.
Like if you're not funny in the first place, swearing a whole bunch doesn't make it funny. But it's it's like salt, does everything need salt? Like, if you just have a bowl of rice, it's good without soy sauce. It's rice, it's a classic. But if you put the salt on there, just saying, it's a little better.
It is a little better.
But you have to have the good base, because I'm not drinking soy sauce.
No,
but if I add it to rice, I'm like, you know what? This is better than just plain rice.
Mm-hmm.
That's my analogy. I don't know why I couldn't think of anything else you put salt on. Now that
I was wondering, because like you put salt on literally everything, and you're just like plain rice.
Mm-hmm. Fine. Rice was my go-to for some reason.
I respect it. I just was
thinking, I had really, really good rice last night.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I went to this cool restaurant. It was all red. All the lighting there was red. It's very like, not dive bar-y, but like very like discreet. On the 3rd floor of something, and there's like no signs for it.
Mm.
And it's like a Japanese restaurant. It was really fun.
I do need to find.
They had a lot of really cool stuff.
A good restaurant.
A lot of high-end stuff.
Ooh.
And they had. I got to eat one of the, like onigiri, which are like the little. You've probably seen them before.
They're jelly donuts.
Yeah, you know the reference. You know Brock's jelly donuts that he always makes.
You gotta love Brock's jelly donuts. He's famed for them. Everyone knows.
Yeah, I ordered them and then they brought it out and I was like, jelly donuts here? No way. But I've never actually had them before. I've only ever seen them extensively in anime, and I've been like, man, that looks pleasant. And I got one. And it was filled with like a nice pickled vegetables.
And by pickled vegetables, you do of course mean raspberry jelly.
Jelly, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
jelly for the jelly donut, yeah. Um, and then yeah, it was really good. That's all. I took a bite of it and I was like, this just feels right. It was like really convenient to eat. The outside was like nice and dry and like firm, but not too dry or too firm. And the inside was like all like hot, steamy rice with nice pickled vegetables.
nice. I've always wanted
Yeah,
to
it was. It
try it, but
was
I've never gotten around to it because it's not exactly cuisine that's popular enough around here to have
Mhm.
access.
Yeah, you don't really see them most places. Um, Mostly because Erie has like as much as I don't put Erie on blast that much because it really isn't all that bad. It's fine for the most part with some like pretty shitty parts. I love them that every there aren't really any like Japanese restaurants or even like Chinese restaurants or Thai restaurants or Vietnamese. It's literally everything's like it'll say, sure, this is a sushi place or this is a Thai place or this is a Chinese place, and you go there and they're like, you want everything. It's all like Pan Asian food, especially in Erie. I think a lot of other like small areas and rural areas are probably a lot like that.
Hmm.
But like just the novelty of being like, oh yeah, this Thai restaurant. They'd be like, yeah, today our specials are banh mi and ramen, and you're like, all right, yeah,
You'll still eat it. You'll still enjoy it
yeah. I mean,
even. But
it's not like necessarily a dig. I mean, it's kind of like probably in the area hard to foster another kind of restaurant because
mhm,
Erie's restaurants, most of them are kind of like that in general.
mhm,
There's not a lot of like single like cuisine restaurants.
mhm.
Maybe some that are
There's
just
really not.
Italian if I'm thinking, but that's really all I can
I feel like
pinpoint.
that's the thing, right? Like Erie has had a really strong Italian presence for a long time.
Almost too much.
I mean, we had an actual mob presence for like a decently
Yeah.
long time.
That's why the mall is shaped like a gun.
Exactly. Which is
You know about the gun mall?
yeah, it's my favorite trivia to bring up when cuz there's a
It
lot of
is.
people that don't know about it because
Yeah,
why
no,
would
especially
you?
even people in Erie don't know.
Yeah, I anytime we get someone from out of town in and they're talking about some stuff, I like to casually sprinkle in, did you know the Erie Mall? I have two fun facts for you about it. Did you know it's the largest mall by ground coverage? Because most bigger malls go up and have a second and third floor,
Mhm.
but we are the biggest flat mall. And then they're like, okay, I guess that's kind of neat. And I'm like, and we're shaped like a gun.
It really is the gun fact that gets them. You're like, yeah, it's actually it's the 14th largest mall by just overall like area. Like it's the 14th largest mall in America is the Mill Creek Mall in Erie, which is
Hmm.
crazy to say because it does not feel that way at all. I've been to
No.
malls that are smaller but feel way bigger.
Yeah. Like, do you remember when we went to that convention down near Hershey? The mall that we went to
Yeah.
there? Yeah, that place
Mhm.
felt giant.
Yeah,
That
definitely a
place
smaller
felt
mall than the one in
huge. And it
Erie.
was much, much smaller.
Which is crazy. I think it's just the blundering inefficiency of the Mill Creek Mall,
Oh my gosh.
in which they have like 10 stores that are like 80,000 square feet,
Yeah,
and then 100 stores that are 7.
exactly.
And so it's like an awful mixture where simultaneously the big stores aren't able to thrive because there's not enough small stores to bring like people
Hmm.
who are like into niche things, and at the same time they're also too big to be like easily digestible by someone walking through.
Hmm.
Like I can tell you, I've never been to the second floor of like Macy's in the Mill Creek Mall. Are you kidding me?
No.
What do I
Why
look
would
like?
you?
Some kind of aristocrat?
Exactly. I
I'm not on
I
a floor
think
two of Macy's.
I've been to the
I'm a floor
second
one
floor.
shopper.
Oh, what is the place? It starts with a B, I think.
Boscov's. You're thinking?
Boscov's. I've been to the second floor
I
of
knew you were thinking
Boscov's.
Boscov. Whoa,
Um,
no, you're a second floor shopper.
well, no, I was just walking around the place.
You were just feeling bougie.
Exactly. I was doing a
Okay.
mall rat life, and I was just hanging out at the mall. And me and my friend actually had Boscov's employees like following us a little bit because he was touching a lot of stuff, and we definitely
Why?
looked suspicious.
See, I feel like I may have actually, now that I'm thinking about it, been to the second floor of, I think maybe the Macy's, because I feel like it's just luggage. Am I wrong? Does that sound right to you?
It sounds right because I've never been to the second floor of Macy's, but that feels like what they'd put there.
Yeah,
You
I feel like
know,
it's just a whole bunch of luggage for some reason.
I feel like, well, I mean, if you have a cart, then you can't like, if you have
They
a
have
cart,
carts at
I
Macy's.
don't know. Come to think of it, I guess not. Where did I get the idea of a cart?
Maybe they do. I mean, what kind of department store doesn't have a cart?
I guess, in my mind, I have this memory of walking around the mall. This might be something that they just don't do anymore, but I feel like I thought I remembered going around the mall in carts.
In carts, you were riding them.
Well, I mean, I was a wee baby child, and my mom was
You know,
pushing
I
them.
feel like they do have little like car kind of carts for like little kids to sit in the front of, and you push around and
Yeah,
there's like a shopping cart attached.
I feel like maybe at least. Who knows? They probably don't because I've never seen any sort of cart collection anywhere. That might be something that they washed out of the program ages and ages ago.
Mhm.
But I have this distinct memory of thinking, well, how are you supposed to get up to the second floor? Oh, you know what? I bet it was a stroller. I bet it was a stroller that I'm remembering. How are you supposed to get to the second floor with a stroller? And so we never went to the second floor of any of the mall places.
Young Noah having the existential thought of how am I supposed to get up to this with this cart up the stairs, up the escalator at Macy's. Isn't there an elevator probably for carts?
There probably is, especially for like, people in wheelchairs who can't ride an escalator.
Hmm. Yeah, you can't just block off the second floor of Macy's to anyone who's like physically disabled.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can. I don't know the legality of Macy's sanctioning, but I feel like you gotta, the Americans with Disabilities Act probably frowns on saying no wheelchairs on the second floor of Macy's, so they can't get what luggage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, sir. I know you want a suitcase, but unfortunately, because of your polio, you're unable to buy one. And no, we won't go get you one.
Well, I mean, you know how Macy's is taking a strong
Yeah.
stance against anyone with physical disabilities, apparently.
Wow, I didn't know they were doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But it adds up now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, so the mall is shaped like a gun. Uh,
I do love
and
that. Gun-shaped
so
mall is the way to be.
I have a funny story about that. The one place that I worked in Austin, the really big place, um, one of my managers he was in the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not actively. He was when he was younger, and then he was not because he was like 50, and he was retired. But he was with a manager there. He was like the owner's nephew, and he
Mm-hmm.
was just hanging out, doing. He was pretty intense, but he was really like he was a solid. Like, he was a nice guy. He was very intense. And at one point in time, I don't even remember why, but I had mentioned to him that the mall in my hometown was shaped like a gun, and he was like, "No, it's not." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean it is. Why would I make this up? First of all, but like,
Google
yeah,
Maps can
it is."
prove you
And then he was like,
wrong.
"No." Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't believe that the mall was shaped like a gun. He like not like seriously doubted me, but he was like, "No way." So
Yeah.
I showed him, and he was like, that's cool because he was a former Marine. He was a police officer for a while. He was a pretty like intense guy, and he was very much about firearms.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know the type.
yeah, I mean, but again, he was one of the better managers there. And that was probably because I made a point of not really knowing him on a personal level, but only knowing him on like a can you comp this person's meal because they hate it here. That was, so it was a very very scant interactions. Anyway,
Mhm.
he like literally would bring that up like every time he saw me.
All
He'd be
right.
like,
Hey,
"Oh yeah,
how's that
the
gun mall treating you?
yeah," and I'd be like, "I don't know, man. I haven't
I
been
still
there."
live here, so
Didn't go there
about
the
the
other day.
same.
You just saw me yesterday. I haven't been to the gun-shaped mall. So I stopped working there. I worked at a different place when I was in the south side of the city, and then like when I was leaving, I had stopped by that restaurant again to say goodbye to some of my friends, kind of that were still working there, and
Yeah.
he literally was like, "Oh, you're like moving?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Where to?" And I was like, "Oh, back to like where I'm from." He's like, "Oh, with the gun mall." I was like, "Dude, with the gun mall?" He's like, a year later, you're like, he's like, "Man, just been thinking about it."
That man cared
And
about one thing and one thing only, and that was a mall shaped like a gun.
yeah, I'd like to think that sometime he's gonna take like a pilgrimage to the mall and just be floored and like just amazed at the shape.
He'll go in and find that there's like 0 gun shops in the mall and be really bummed out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm honestly, you would do great if you were there with a what do you call? Wow, totally blanking on what I was gonna say.
No, are you about to suggest that someone should have a firearm shop in the mall?
No, like
Okay,
a
I'm just making sure that
Cabela's.
wasn't where you were going because I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea.
No, I was thinking like a Cabela's. You know, like you can't take
Oh,
guns
like a
this
sporting
way.
goods store.
Yeah, but like a sporting
Mhm.
goods store, you know, like no weapons this way, but you can take them out the main door, come back in.
Okay,
You
okay.
know,
Well, I
that
mean,
way
yeah,
there's guns
maybe.
in the gun mall.
Mhm. I feel like those kind of, all like the sporting goods stores are kind of going away.
Hmm.
Are people not buying sporting goods anymore? Is no what happened?
See, I
Is that
think
booming?
I feel like I've been seeing a lot more like local shops popping up with stuff, or not popping up, but
Mhm.
like still existing. While I'm seeing like a lot of like Dick's and Cabela's go away.
You hate to see all the dicks go away.
I know, right? I feel like a lot
Um,
of them are just turning into the mega superstores that exist like once every like 120, 200 miles, you know? And
yeah, I
then
mean, I think have you ever been to like a big Cabela's?
I've I keep seeing pictures of the one that's like a pyramid and I really want to visit.
That's a Bass Pro Shops in Memphis. It's not a Cabela's.
Oh,
And yes,
well,
I've
shit.
been to
I,
the Pyramid Bass Pro Shop.
is it everything that you think it would be?
I'm not gonna lie, Noah, it kind of sucks.
No.
Yeah, the Bass Pro Shop that's shaped like a giant pyramid is underwhelming, but it's also the largest pyramid in North America. Eat your heart out. Facts.
So, in my mind, in are the Aztecs in South America?
Yeah, I know. I actually, well, I mean, if it says North America, wouldn't that include what is like Mexico?
Hmm.
Or is Mexico not
I mean,
included
I
in North
don't.
America? I'm pretty
Did,
sure.
I've always thought of
Like,
Mexico as Central America, but like
I
maybe
have
Central
heard
America
the
doesn't exist
distinction.
anymore.
I had a geography class. Yeah, no, Mexico is included in North America.
Okay.
Now I don't know that. Let me see here because the one thing I do know about the distinction is that usually the United States and Canada are categorized into what is called like Anglo America because
Hmm.
English colonization primarily. I mean, I guess Canada had a lot of the French, but Anglo America because the English ended up kind of winning out that
Hmm.
little territorial dispute,
Just a little
and
bit.
then South America and Mexico are Latin America because of apparently they just don't want to like call it Spanish America. I mean, which makes sense, but it's also like I feel like Latin. I mean, again, it may make sense, but also they didn't speak Latin. The conquistadors they're speaking Spanish when they colonized it. Um,
Yeah.
but sure, Latin.
I'll take it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a reason I'm not wise to. But anyway, yeah, I had a geology class, and that was the distinction that was made: is that Anglo America is not North America, but a lot of times people misinterpret it as because they'll for whatever reason erase Mexico from what is North America.
Hmm.
But nope, it's there. I looked it up just now.
Huh. Good to know.
Mexico is solidly North America. I mean, it'd be kind of lame if we just had two countries on the continent. And then where's the
It really
continental
would.
divide come in?
Where Texas stops, duh.
Yeah, you're right.
And
But
the more Texas moves down, the further
oh,
down.
it's moving down.
Well, you never know. It
Oh no. So
concerningly
okay, so when
might.
you said that, I thought you meant like you said Texas moving down. I didn't imagine like imperialism, which sucks. I imagine like literally the state of Texas migrating, like just like moving into the Gulf of Mexico.
I do love the idea of there just being a giant like Texas border shaped cutout
Mhm.
where it's like, a 3 mile wide river of ocean water just separating
Yeah, and
Texas
it's
from the
it's
rest
more
of
fun that way
America.
too because then you don't have to be like, yeah, they probably committed awful humanitarian acts, and instead you can be like,
Exactly.
yeah, no, Texas has slowly drifted into the Pacific Ocean, because then you're like, yeah, it's it just kind of moved.
Exactly. And
And no
Texas would
peoples
probably
were
like
harmed in
that
the
too.
process. I feel like they wouldn't.
Cuts them off from the
They
rest
would
of
just like to
America.
pretend they would like it until it happened.
They'd complain nonstop about it, but if anyone actually proposed any plans to stop it, they'd be mad that liberal America is interfering with their livelihoods.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right. And then they would be like, if only we had the gun mall here.
The gun mall's the way to be, dude. Yeah. So, I have some video games I'd like to talk about this week if you're down.
I want to make sure that the Bass Pro Shop really is the largest pyramid. Okay, thank God. Whew. There's larger pyramids than the Bass Pro Shops in North America. We're saved.
Wait. Which ones are bigger?
The pyramid, the Cahokia, is home to more than 120 pyramids, and they're some of them are larger. There's one that's called the Monk's Mound.
I really don't like this little line that this is one of the largest pyramids in the world. That's depressing.
The Bass Pro Shops one?
Mm-hmm. One of the largest pyramids in the world.
There's a...
and it's Bass Pro Shop. See, I think what bums me out the most about the Bass Pro Shop is this has the capability of being a full mall in and of itself. You know, like a Bass Pro Shop with a bunch of like little chain restaurant outlets in it.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it like a sports store? Or not a sports store, like a stadium of some sort before?
The Illuminati Stadium.
No, wasn't it actually? Like, isn't that the lore?
I don't know. Although it does look like it is also a hotel now.
Yeah, it was formerly the Pyramid Arena.
The Pyramid Arena.
First conceived in 1954 by Mark Hartz, an artist. You know, I hate when they're like, yeah, the big pyramid in Memphis was conceived by this guy. Like he was just like some genius for being like, hey, what if we put a big fucking pyramid here? He didn't do it. He just said it. I could have told you that. I could have made up that idea. I'd be like, yeah, what if they put a big pyramid in Memphis? And then went back to sleep and people would put my name in a Wikipedia article.
That artist is no better than some power tripping governor that also would say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, if he were to... I'm sorry, wait. It was made by the person who owns the Denver Nuggets?
Crying out loud. I won't lie to you. I do hate the Denver Nuggets just because they are the Denver Nuggets. I have no real reason to outside of their name, but I've got big beef with their name for no valid reason.
Yeah, apparently it's where the Memphis Grizzlies played for a while.
Amazing.
And then they were just like, we're going to build another stadium not far from it, sponsored by FedEx. And then all the sports teams were like, yeah, we're done playing in the Pyramid. We're going to go to the FedEx building. In 2002, the Pyramid hosted Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson, one of the biggest professional boxing events in history. What? From 2002 to 2006, the annual Church of God in Christ International Convocations were held there?
No.
What? Imagine being like, hey, we're going to go to our big church meeting. Oh, sick, man. Where's it at? Like the Memphis Convention Center? Not exactly. We're going to have our big church meeting in the Pyramid. I'd be there. It sounds fun.
I would be there in a heartbeat. That's cool. I love pyramids.
You love pyramids?
They're just neat.
Yeah, name 10.
The pyramid at Giza. The Bass Pro Shop. I think I've done enough. I don't think I need to prove anymore.
Yeah. not me Googling best pyramid. 10 best pyramids in Mexico. Yeah, I'm really happy that there are larger pyramids in Mexico than the Bass Pro Shop because it just would feel so wrong.
I'm sorry, best pyramid schemes and then best pyramid schemes to join. Oh no, wait a minute. Top 100 best MLM companies to join in 2021. What? Please tell me that this article has to be oh my gosh, it's not.
I think most of these pyramids actually weren't Aztec.
Amway, Herbalife, Avon.
Wait, no, they all had meetings in the pyramid?
No, these are the top 100 MLMs to work for, ranked by revenue.
Oh, I thought you were still looking at pyramid things, but you're looking at...
No, I was about to look up best pyramids, and then it was best pyramid schemes to work for. So I'm just going down this rabbit hole.
Why would you Google best pyramid scheme to work for? Who's like, I've been thinking about getting into a pyramid scheme.
That's what I've been thinking too. Like, why would you do that?
That's incredible.
There's It Works. Number 44. You know, some of these businesses are just broke. Less than $1 billion a year. Psh, pathetic. Oh my gosh. Cutco. There it is.
Here we go.
I like Cutco. I think their stuff is okay.
Yeah, I'm not positive who built a lot of the pyramids. It looks like I'm seeing a little bit more Mayan activity, just from looking at like the biggest pyramids in the country. But you know, lots of activity. Very, very, very cool area. You ever go to Mexico before, Noah?
I have not.
Yeah, me neither.
I've thought about it a lot.
I feel like the problem is most of like what you see about people going to Mexico is they're like, we're going to Cancun,
Exactly.
and they're just like, hey, we're gonna go get
We're
trashed at a resort. I'm
hmm
like, that doesn't really,
That doesn't sound like a good time to me.
yeah, I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
If I'm gonna go to another country, I want to walk around the country and like I don't know. I really, really would like to enjoy local food. That's a big thing for me when I'm traveling because
Mhm.
that's something I could take home with me. Is stealing local cuisine.
You probably shouldn't smuggle food across the border, even if it is really good.
Nope, nope. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, well, that's a bold statement, but I respect that you're openly willing to smuggle produce.
Yep, I'm just so much produce. Probably at least 300, 500 pounds of produce.
That's incredibly illegal.
Well, I mean, sometimes people need to get off their high horse and let me have the delicious produce from the countries I'm visiting.
But the problem with that is it oftentimes is like not only bad for the local economy because you're kind of being their own transport system, which they didn't ask you to be, but also it's dangerous because you can bring in unwanted, um, like uh, different kind of like foodborne parasites of sorts that can not necessarily negatively affect you, but negatively affect the ecosystem you bring them into, and that's why it's a dangerous process
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of invasive species that you don't know are invasive until you bring them there and set them in your backyard.
You mean like the cane toad, my favorite pet?
No.
I'm gonna bring at least 5 of them with me when I go to Australia.
You're probably one of those people who's like, yeah, let me buy the 100,000 ladybugs on Amazon and just set them outside.
Wait, you can buy ladybugs on Amazon?
Yes, I don't, I hope that you can't do it anymore, but there was a trend of people buying live ladybugs on Amazon and eBay, and they would like set them off on, like, put them in like someone's office as a prank.
Oh my gosh.
Why would you do that?
Jackson, I have terrible news. I'm pretty
What?
sure I just found 300 live ladybugs for $34.
That's kind of a steep price. You can
I
get
mean,
1,500 live ladybugs for only 47.
mine are organic, I think.
It's one of those where like I guess they probably don't like regulate it anymore because ladybugs have become just so overtly invasive that it's just like, eh. Or is it not the ladybugs? It's like the Japanese beetles that are invasive. Let me look it up. I don't want to just start making things up. I think one of them's invasive, though. I just can't tell you which one.
I mean, I feel like ladybugs would be invasive, right?
Sure.
I don't like ladybugs that much, so.
You know what? I like
Hmm.
ferns.
Ferns?
Yeah, ferns.
Why?
They're just pretty cool. They're old too.
Like,
Older than the dinosaurs.
I mean, yeah,
That's kind of cool.
I suppose.
You seem like you're not. You seem like you're not impressed.
I mean, they're old. Good for ferns. They're kind of cool looking. Some of them are kind of
They're like,
scary, though.
but the thing is, like the ferns you see today, like in like outside,
Mhm.
they're the same ferns that were present 100 million years ago. Like the same. Like they haven't changed. They haven't evolved. They're just the same.
I don't
That's
like.
pretty cool.
See, I hate the little. I hate
Wow.
the bottom of fern leaves, how they have those little seed pods or whatever it is on them. I don't like those.
The spores.
Yeah, I hate those a
Okay,
lot.
so wow.
The concept of ferns beyond that, pretty cool.
Yeah, I just think
But
it's pretty sick that they are just able to like
they're here. They're
like
vibing.
self-fertilize.
That is pretty cool.
Well, like
I'll give them
they
that.
they previously they just kind of solved plant evolution.
They're like, all right,
Because
cool, we did it. And they
well, yeah,
stopped.
because after like the most recent mass extinction of like the going into what is the modern era, the extinction that caused the rise of mammals and the death of dinosaurs, ferns were like one of the only plants to survive it.
Mhm.
Because like there are clear boundaries, and like let's say you're looking at like geologic evidence, you can look at like a rock wall and see a clear line where like the Chicxulub crater was created. Sorry, I just was thinking about this because we were talking about Mexico and
Mhm.
like the Yucatan Peninsula, which is where that crater hit. And I was just like thinking about ferns,
Ferns.
just like them. But yeah, you can see like a clear distinction, like a line where that crater hit and impacted, and where like all the sulfur dioxide was released, and all like the ejecta kind of landed as it was flying all across the globe. And before the line, there's just a whole bunch of ferns, and after the line, there's still just a whole bunch of ferns and nothing else.
That is
Before the line, you're like, wow, it's a triceratops and ferns. After the line, you're like, wow, just ferns.
suspicious. Where are all these ferns from? Why are they here?
Yeah, I wish we had discovered that a little bit before we knew more about like soil processing, so we could have just had people theorizing that ferns caused mass extinction.
That actually would have been pretty great.
That would have been pretty funny if that was like a leading theory that we could look back on and be like, someone thought that.
I would have thought that.
It's just really
Why
cool
not?
that the fern spores, when they're spread, when they land, they don't need any other conditions. They already have their like nutritional needs met, so they just hit the ground and they can just bloom, which made them like the perfect candidate for surviving that mass extinction, because it didn't matter if the soil was acrid. They could just be ferns.
It's fantastic. Okay, I'm on Team Fern now. That's actually pretty cool.
Oh wow, I'm glad to have swayed your mind.
Happy to have my mind swayed.
That's a weird mentality, but you know what? I was looking forward to it. Yeah. Did we mention that Dan's not here again?
He is not here again. Good for Dan. He got a job. I don't remember how much of his "Hey, I'm looking for a job" was here on the podcast. But he did get one. Unfortunately, this has made him very busy, so he is not here today.
We're not job enough for him.
Apparently, we're not job enough anymore.
I understand.
It's sad. People really be like that.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
How was your past 7?
My past 7 were pretty great until yesterday. I got home from a work thing and I was really tired, and I'm like, well, I'm probably just tired because I went out today. And I laid down on the couch for like 5 hours, brain turned off, just watching Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
Which has been it's been a real trip to come back to that one.
Never watched it personally.
It is hot trash in a really fun way. I like it a lot, but it is definitely hot trash. But then I realized, you know what? I think I have a fever. And I wasn't really feeling that. So I checked, and by golly, I had a 1/2 degree fever. So I'm like, okay, I could just be running a little hot. No big deal. But now I have a sore throat and a cough. So that's not that great. Flip side. The flip side is the Mass Effect remaster came out, and I'm really excited about
it. No. Yeah, on one hand, I'm pretty sick. On the other hand, Mass Effect remaster came out.
I mean, I don't know if you saw Rob retweet that article about the Kotaku guy who played through Mass Effect 2 and managed to kill off half his team. But that
I
was
did not.
Oh yeah, no, it's I mean, spoilers for Mass Effect, the quite old game at this point. It's been more than 10 years, so that's on you. The game, you can perma-kill people if you're not careful. The final mission is a suicide run, and if you don't play it right, then your guys aren't going to make it. And boy, even the first time I played it, and I'm going through and I'm making all the right decisions in my mind, I lost some people, right? But I didn't lose that many people. I only lost like 2 or 3 tops. And it was a rough time, but I'm like, oh man, this sucks. But okay, it is what it is. And my official first full playthrough of the games landed me with 2 missing people at the end of it. It was definitely 2, because there was, I'm remembering in 3 who I couldn't interact with anymore. But yeah, like, very sad, but it is what it is. And then I'm reading through this and they're like, I don't even know how to feel about the fact that I lost all my team members who I loved so much. And I'm like, what? Just play better. It's pretty mapped out. If you didn't like it, then play through again and get the ending that you like. Otherwise, it's like, oh man, you messed up. It's a Casualties of War kind of game. Play 3 with all the missing people.
Endings, though? Wasn't that like people were mad about that?
Well, that was Mass Effect 3. Oh. Mass Effect 3 only has 3 endings, but a lot of your characters from 2, you're going to miss not having them around if you're not careful.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad if you were to lose like half your roster and then you just don't have them at all in the game where you're designed to have them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of them will get filled in with different people. Other characters only come in for like cameos. So if you lost them, their cameo just doesn't, it's not a cameo anymore. It's just another person that is filling the spot. But yeah, I don't know. It's a neat thing. You can lose everyone, including Shepard. If you play it wrong, you can kill your entire team, and only your pilot survives. And
who's the pilot?
His name's Joker. And let me tell you, Jackson. Let me tell you who lives in a society.
I was not prepared.
Yeah.
Oh, It's the Jeff Joker. His name's Jeff.
Yep.
Oh, this is just like a normal guy.
He's a very normal guy. I think, what does he have? Scoliosis?
I was expecting like an alien monster of some sort because,
No, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. He has Vrolik syndrome, which makes his bones very, very brittle.
Yeah, he's also the guy who voices Chris Griffin in Family Guy.
No.
Seth Green.
No.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Green is friends with the band Fall Out Boy. Seth Green and Fall Out Boy are friends.
Apparently.
Joker from Mass Effect.
I hear that Seth Green and Fall Out Boy are friends. Wow, he has some interesting voice credits on here. Slut Wars host.
Oh, he was on Slut Wars, my favorite show.
Yeah. Oh, he wasn't just on it, my guy. He was.
I don't actually know.
He was the host.
I'm not gonna lie, Noah. I lied when I said I knew what that was.
I don't know what it is either. It's what is the TV set? Comedy drama film. I don't know. I don't care.
I don't know anything about Mass Effect.
Okay.
Other than people were mad that apparently in the remaster they were like, "Hey, we're cutting out like nudity," and people were like, "I hate that. I only play this space tactic game for nudity."
I can't imagine. Well, there's not like
people were like mad about it for some reason, and I was like,
There's not really like there's any nudity in it though. Like there was already incredibly minimal nudity.
Yeah, what did they change?
I know they dropped one DLC because all of their archive files for it were corrupted and they couldn't recover it.
Oh, wow.
And they changed up some play style elements for Mass Effect 1, which is pretty great in my opinion. I hope that all 3 games play the same now because they almost all play the same. But driving the Mako around was miserable. It is a very difficult vehicle to control. Just not a good time. It did that thing where if you're at a 45-degree angle on a hill and then you're going forward and you try to kick off your jet booster to go up, it will take you. I was
trying to kick off my jet booster to go up.
Exactly. But instead of having you go up and forward, it would have you go straight out from the ground, which if you're on flat ground, that's fine. But if you're going up a hill, it launches you backward off the hill. And that's not very great at all. I like the idea of what they were doing with it, where it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's technically how it would probably work in real life. But also, this is a fantasy game, and I don't need to have it actually launch me backward off a hill, personally.
That's reasonable. Okay, so I'm looking at Mass Effect Super Mode or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't. So as someone who's never played it, I don't like. So at first I liked the thing they were doing. They were like, yeah, this game is a PS4 game with a free next-gen upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
But like, from what I've seen so far, none of them have actually put that out yet. They're just all promising it, and then they're just not. And like, sure, I know it's not going to be like the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems kind of like, if I'm going to buy it, that's what I did with like Cyberpunk when I bought it. It was like, oh yeah, free next-gen upgrade. I was like, all right, cool. So like, maybe like it'll be whenever they're ready, a couple months. But now I'm starting to realize, like, oh, it's probably just never gonna happen, or it's gonna happen like 2 years from now when everyone's gonna have lost total interest in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to sink like 60 hours into something, and then 3 months later, then be like, all right, here's an objectively better version we've just released, and also the game's cheaper to buy now.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
I'd rather just buy like a used copy in 5 months when it's already out on a different console. Like.
Oh, good news! Mass Effect 1, they fixed sprinting out of combat. In Mass Effect 1, when you would sprint in combat, you'd run fast. But when you'd sprint out of combat, it would add motion blur to your screen and you would not go faster.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, but it's what they did. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this.
Like what happens if you hit the sprint button? It's nothing. It just makes the screen blurry and you move at the same speed.
Yeah, no, it was like you'd get the visual effects like you were moving faster, but you wouldn't.
They're like, yeah, we put racing stripes on your character. That's incredible. You know what else has been bothering me about games? That's just a thing that seems to be everywhere lately, but kind of useless in my opinion.
What was that?
I miss when pre-order bonuses were cool.
You know, there used to be a lot of really cool
There
pre-order
was.
bonuses. Like when you got
I
Chris
remember as a
Redfield's
young
coat
lad.
if you pre-ordered Resident Evil 8.
And how dare you? How dare you bring up the trench coat? Not like this.
You're just jealous.
I really hope that was a real thing and not just like some clickbait ad. Like, hey, if you buy this game a month early, you get a free trench coat. But yeah, I remember like being a young lad, and I would purchase all of the Pokemon games. I would pre-order them.
Mhm.
You go into GameStop, you have to give them like $5, and they'll put your name on like the roster or whatever. It was like 2004. It was a different time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd be like, Mom, can I have the new Pokemon game for Christmas? And she's like, yeah, it comes out November 10th. I was like, but if I pre-order it, I get this free thing. So inevitably, you'd be like, all right, yeah, you can have it for Christmas. Pre-order it. You should pick it up in November, and then be like, have fun in a month. Which I am fine with. I don't have like a problem with that. It makes sense. Um, but like it was cool because yeah, I would pre-order it because then I'll get like extra stuff too. And Mom was like, yeah, it's free Christmas presents, duh. Wrap those up too. But it used to be like fun things like a themed stylus, or I remember for Heart Gold and Soul Silver and Diamond Pearl and Platinum when those came out. Platinum and Heart Gold were the two that I had pre-ordered as a young lad, and they came with like this cool figure. I'll see if I can find it. Uh, like, but they were so cool. And they were just like a little statue that was like perfect for a desk. And in
Nice.
hindsight, I wish I didn't like have them when I was like 8 because I totally like misused them.
Yeah, yeah.
And but also it's a little plastic figurine.
I was gonna say you bought a toy, you used
and
it
I
as a
played with it and
toy.
had a great time.
Exactly.
And so yeah, for that I'm not actually like upset, but let's see. Um, but yeah, there's a fun thing about it, and admittedly, it's not that valuable, but it's cool to get like a little like statue or a little toy with like the pre-order.
Yeah.
And now I'm noticing everything just comes with a steel case.
And don't get me wrong, I do love a steel case.
I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I
When I
do.
got Resident Evil Village, I pre-ordered it just for convenience sake, just so I could pick it up the same morning of and have like a for sure copy. And it's like, yeah, here's your free steel book. And I was like, oh, I want this. I ended up giving it to Rob because I was like, I'm sure he's gonna buy the game digitally anyway. I was like, yeah, you can have it because he's more of a like physical collector than I am. I was like, you can just put it on your shelf. It's like a limited edition case. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like personally, I just don't really. If you're gonna give me the steel book, I'm fine with it. But I would rather have that instead of the plastic case. Why are you giving me both?
Oh, it gave you both. Okay,
Yeah,
no,
they
that's
always give you both.
stupid. That's really stupid.
Yeah, because all the steelbooks I've gotten, they just give me 2 cases, and I'm like, well, now I have 2 cases for the same game, and I don't even have like a shelf. I just kind of keep them in a drawer. So now I just have half the room I would have otherwise.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Because the problem with like digital games is you don't have a case. So people who are into collecting, they're like, oh man, I don't have anything to put on my shelf now. And then apparently, if you pre-order, they give you 2 times the things to put on your shelf.
You gotta love it.
They should just run like a program where, like distributors, where you can buy a game digitally and then pick up like an empty case or like a stock case.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just think that would be nice. Because I love having the cases and having like the little art and stuff inside of them. But honestly, it is kind of frustrating sometimes having to like switch discs and still download the entire content onto the console.
Right.
It feels kind of pointless.
Mm.
I think it'd be cool if they had like a little distribution program that allowed for people to maintain a collection while still moving into a more digital archival system. I think that would be. I don't think that's insane to suggest, especially because people are still paying the same price for something that they're not getting any like physical, not reward, but like physical substance for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think most people. I think most people wouldn't even opt in on that. But I think for people who were into that kind of thing, it would be a really neat option. Cool.
I would agree. See,
Which I've talked plenty about with the Switch. How that's one of my favorite things about it. The fact that the games are on the cartridges.
mm-hmm.
They're not just blank, and they don't make you download everything to play them.
Yeah, no, that is incredibly frustrating.
Whereas nothing frustrates me more than being like, yeah, I bought a game for the PlayStation. I put the disc in the PlayStation, and it's like, all right, cool. Now we got to download the entire game off the internet. Like, what's the point of selling discs in the first place if they don't contain any information?
Red Dead was bad about that because it's like download disc 1, then you download disc 2, then put disc 1 back into play, and you can't play without the disc because it apparently still has enough files on it.
Well, you can't play without it because it's more of like a lock to make sure you don't take it to GameStop and exchange it and then keep playing all your games.
Yeah.
But there's definitely better ways they could do that. There should be like an option to like burn it, basically,
Hmm.
either onto the disc or completely off of the disc.
Right.
Because
See,
the main reason I like the disc is for the collecting
now on the
purposes. I haven't
subject
liked to
of
look at them.
pre-order bonuses, though, I will say one thing that I wish that they would do less of is in-game bonuses for pre-ordering.
I agree.
Because I don't like if you have a really cool pre-order exclusive skin for something, I don't care for that. I want to be able to get, if I want that skin, I really would like to be able to not have had to pre-order the game 5 years ago and I missed it, you know?
Especially because a lot of them aren't even like that. A lot of them are just like, yeah, you could just buy it for $5 also. I don't
Exactly.
want to do that either.
And then like
Um,
Dead Space 3, I pre-ordered that and they gave us they gave you, I think, a special armor for once you beat the game. You could use a special armor look, but they also gave you a bunch of crafting resources. So the
what?
very first time you hit a workbench in the game, you could deck yourself out with like a really good gun. Like as soon as you figured out like the elite tier combo, which I believe for me was a machine gun on top and then a buzz saw on the bottom, because you could have double decker weapons.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, cool. It gave me enough stuff to build that immediately, which I don't know. It's fine, right? But like, it's just a little excessive.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I think I mean, on one hand, it's excessive because you can just solve any problem presented to you by paying for it.
Hmm.
Um, and while I personally wouldn't do that, I mean, I guess you didn't
Yeah, I don't.
like in that case you didn't have to do that. Um, but that also kind of makes the reward null because they're pretending you're paying for something that you don't even want to use.
See, and
It's not really a
I don't
bonus at
mind
that
them
point.
having the option there, but I also feel like there should be an option if you have like pre-order rewards. You should have the option to enable pre-order rewards on this file or something, like
Hmm.
when you load up the game. I
Yeah,
think that
especially
would make
because
sense.
you can get them pretty easily if you started actually gathering the resources. You could pretty easily forget that that's how you got them.
Exactly.
Like you could blur those numbers pretty quick and basically have an extra bank.
Mhm. Because I know that's what happened to me. By the time I finished the game, I was honestly thinking, yeah, I don't know. I really feel like what do you call? I really feel like wow, brain derailed. I really feel like this game was really easy. It was almost too easy. I wish they had made it a little harder. And then I'm like, oh, duh. My pre-order items are actually like making this game a lot easier.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and I think that's definitely an egregious example.
Hmm.
Uh, one that's recent and kind of confused me, and I still don't know because I haven't gone back and really like fiddled with it too much. Um, for the deluxe edition of Resident Evil 8, you can buy the standard or the deluxe. The deluxe is $10 more. There's no rewards that I can really discern as being anything other than cosmetic, except for the deluxe edition says it comes with max difficulty,
Hmm. I did see that.
which seems weird, right?
I don't like the idea of locking a difficulty behind a special edition.
Uh, yeah, because
Which,
usually, like in the series, it's typically you beat the game and then you unlock difficulties based on one harder than you just beat, so you can play like the max or the hardest difficulty after you beat hard,
mhm.
which
Oop,
is kind of weird. I don't
I
know if it's max difficulty unlocked from the start,
I think I accidentally
but
just booted up Mass Effect because I was going to click on it to double check its settings. But
mhm.
yep, I did. I did. Uh-oh. I
Nice.
hope I'm not crashing my recording. Mass Effect
Oh no.
was a game that launched. Oh my gosh, the load up music
Launched.
is so just. Oh my gosh, my brain is not on today. Mass Effect is a game that locked a special difficulty behind its legendary edition thing. It hasn't, but this is a reissue of all three games bundled into one, and it what do you call? And it has a special difficulty for this reissue edition. It's not like the game released day one and then it's like, but if you want the special edition of it for the special difficulty, because that feels weird to me. That feels real weird to me. It's like day one DLC. Like, don't.
Mhm.
Don't release a buggy game with day one DLC because that just feels really shady.
Yeah, I don't like the look of that. I mean, it feels so like I don't know. There's no reward for actually like you know doing
Mhm.
anything other than paying,
Yeah.
and especially when the price to entry is $60.
Yeah.
It's kind of absurd that they would be like, yeah, you have to give me another 10 if you want to play on hard though. Why? At that point, I don't really want to. The hardest part about it all is the damage done to my ego when I have to spend $10 more.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know anything about Mass Effect as a series. I know people who were really really into it, and then half of those people who were really really into it are mad about the remaster because they made it like I don't even know what they changed about like the nudity, but there's less nudity.
So I double
This is an
checked
outrage.
because I thought I remembered, and I remembered incorrectly. But there is a character in the second game.
Mhm.
Um, there's a character in the second game who her entire thing was that she's like a genetically perfected person, which of course
That's
means
weird.
that she's got that ass. And Mass Effect 2 is the most egregious example of video game male gaze when it comes to every single scene with her in it. I'm not joking when I tell you that a full third of her scenes, her ass is the primary focus of the screen with everyone else behind it. Which,
That's
like,
startling.
yeah, yeah.
Alright, I'm looking at Mass Effect characters. I'm gonna look at the list here. I'm gonna tell you which one you're talking about. Oh, there's no pictures. This is bad. This is a bad list.
Okay, so you'll want to look up Mass Effect 2 characters.
I
I'm I'm really excited to see if you can pick her out of the lineup. I think you'll be able to.
This is a human character, correct?
This is a human character.
So it's not.
Let me send you the same image I'm looking at just to make sure we're going with the same list here. Oh wait, nope, not that chat. This chat. All right. So here we go. Mass Effect characters.
Mm-hmm. So I'm supposed to guess which one of these is supposed to represent a. I don't even want to say it.
The genetically perfected
Yeah,
character.
yeah. I wanna-
Yep. I'm I might be remembering wrong, but I am very certain that that was this character's like gimmick.
Is it? It's not. It's not. It's not. The destroyer of worlds there with the lizard face. It's not him. He
It
looks
is
cool.
that is Grunt, and he is a perfect thing, but he is not a
I
perfected being. No.
I love Grunk.
He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, no. It is it. I'm seeing like what? It is a female human.
Yes. Yep. Female human.
So I'm seeing two.
You're
I'm
seeing two.
guessing not the one with tattoos because
It
that's
it is
no.
not Jack.
It's the one in the with the black hair.
Yep. That's Miranda. Welcome to let's see. Miranda camera angle is a big search. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Let me just send you this photo of an average camera angle in Mass Effect 2.
Mhm.
It is very important to note that Miranda's clothing is very clearly painted on. It is not good design. Let's see. I'm sending you.
So you're telling me that in the game when you are having conversation with this character, it just shows her butt the whole time.
I'm showing you 3 different images from 3 different parts of the game
And
that are
then they
all the
changed this in
exact
the remake, and
same
people said this is an
shot.
outrage.
Yeah. They change it so that there's less egregious butt shots.
Yeah. So
God
they
forbid.
changed it to be like a normal dialogue should appear.
Yeah.
And yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. And it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like an outrage or something that's awful.
Mhm. I really am enjoying these people who redid the infamous butt shot, but with different characters there instead of Miranda.
I
Wow.
think the one person with the purple helmet is cool.
Tali. Tali's pretty great. I like Tali.
What's their deal?
So they're from a species of alien that they fled their home planet because of the robot dude, the Geth. They created the
I
Geth to
hate the
be their
robot dudes
helpers.
who always make me flee my home planet.
But they lived in spaceships for hundreds of years, and because of that, they can only survive in a perfectly sterile environment. They lost their entire like immune system because they were living on
Mm.
spaceships that were scrubbing the air. And because of
That sounds
that,
like a bit of an oversight.
yeah, it does, doesn't it? And because of that, they have to live in these suits forever. During the sex scene that you can have with her, she makes a point of mentioning that she took antibiotic boosters so that she could have sex with you and not die.
That sounds like something you should have, as your character, probably just been like, you know what, this is for your own safety. That's.
Nope, too horny.
Hmm. So then, when she's on your spaceship, why don't? Why does she have to wear a helmet?
Because my spaceship is not clean enough.
Why don't you clean it better?
I don't know.
I feel like I would rather just install a better air filter than force one of my friends to live in a bubble for the rest of their life.
Unfortunately, you don't get that option.
Mm.
But yeah. Here's that's Mass Effect 2. I think they in my memory they cleaned a lot of that up in Mass
The
Effect
air
3.
or
No, the characters.
unfortunate.
Who are the characters in 3? Let me double check cuz there were only like there were minimal options in 1. There were so many options in 2. Looks like there's not that
So
many
how does
options
the
in
game work?
3.
Is it like a are these like your friends and you go on like team events together, or do you just do whatever you do as an individual and then come back and talk to them?
No, you select up to is it 2 of them? I want to say up to 2 of them, and you take them with you on your space adventures. And then you can talk to
Okay.
everyone else back at your home base, but these are all the guys that you can bring with you.
And then you can come back and switch them out.
Yeah.
All right,
Wow, the
that sounds
squad is a lot smaller in Mass Effect 3 than I remember. Wow.
smaller than it was in the two one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's I'm only seeing 7 people and one of these guys is a DLC character. I forgot. It's so much smaller. Where's my Krogan? There has to be a mistake here.
Is that the
There he is.
who's that?
Wait, no, this is the first game again. That's what Grunt is. He's a Krogan.
Oh, I thought it was Grunk.
Oh, I'm sorry, no. Yeah, Grunt.
Mm,
The Krogan are pretty great. They you ever watch Star Trek?
nope.
Oh, well, I was gonna say they're a lot like the Klingons, but I don't think that will mean a lot.
It will mean nothing to me.
Unfortunate. I got nothing then.
Ow.
May I tactfully pivot to talking about Vampire for like 30 seconds?
Yeah, sure.
So Vampire, I still haven't decided if I like it or not. And I think that's a big problem.
So but you're set on it's not just a money laundering thing.
I don't think it's just a money laundering thing.
It's always good when you have absolute faith that it's not a money laundering scheme.
See, it's fun. It's fun enough. It's a pretty game. There's a lot of fun things that I like about it, but it's not like I don't know, it's not good. The gameplay has a lot to be desired while it has a lot of cool like abilities that your vampire can do. You're also kind of locked down to now, full disclosure, I'm trying to play like the good guy route of not eating anybody. So I am
Not
gaining levels much slower than other people would be if you actually like eat the residents of London. Um so because of that, I am under leveled a lot of the time. But there's also no way to like level up if you're trying to play a pacifist run. And I don't care for that. I think it's a little shady to make that mode so much harder. But the abilities are a lot of fun. I love the abilities, the blood-based abilities that your vampire has. Very enjoyable. You can turn into a shadow, you can warp around. It's a fun time. I just wish that it
I
was
mean
a little
it
more
does.
balanced.
I mean, maybe it's on me, but I feel like if you're playing a game where you're supposed to be a vampire and you choose to not do any vampire things, it's reasonable that the game would be harder.
Oh no, I expected the game to be harder. I just didn't
Okay.
expect I didn't expect to see like that much of a difficulty hike, you know?
Hmm. But it does stand to reason that it would be like the hardest option to be a
It would.
vampire and not.
But it's also like it's the appropriate way to play the character also.
Okay.
Like
Like lore wise, he's not a vampire kind of guy. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, lore wise, he's like, I can't believe I'm a vampire. I'm racked with guilt for being a vampire. Oh, I hate everything so much. I wish I wasn't a vampire.
Sounds
And
to me like he doesn't want to be a vampire.
he
Based on the
doesn't.
fact that you just said that.
He really doesn't. He's you know, a little he's a little whiny about it, if we're being honest. He's like, oh, I accidentally killed my sister. I'm so sad. Oh, I can't go out in daylight. I'm so sad.
I feel like those are pretty valid complaints, and I think you're being a little harsh.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's also English, and he has that.
Oh yeah, never mind. Go off. Immediately, I'm on your side.
He's got that voice, you know.
Yeah, it's impossible to not mock.
It's a fun enough game. It's worth playing, I guess. If you can, I got it for free, and as such, I think it was very worth my money.
Yeah, that's a good deal. That's a good price.
I don't think I would pay more than like. It's not that old a game, and I don't think I would happily pay much more than $15 for it.
Yeah, I think the selling price. I think it was one of those games that started at 40.
Really? I don't. Oh my.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was one of those games that dropped with a lower price, kind of like Marvel's Avengers when that came out. Remember when that first came out and like people played it?
Yeah,
That's
I think Dan liked it a lot when it came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, next time when he's back around, I'll have to pry a little bit more because I feel like it was one of those where he liked it a lot when it came out, and then he was like, "I'll talk more about it next." I feel like it was one of those. He's like, "Yeah, we'll talk more about it next week after I play more," and then they just never talked more about it.
That sounds about right. Yeah,
Isn't
it looks
it also like already discontinued.
Is it? No way.
I'm pretty sure it's already like bombed.
Yikes. That's
my only
embarrassing.
guess towards that is because I'm getting like it costs like $20 half the time. And it's only it's alarmingly undersold.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like
Yeah,
Vampire
like
was
it's
released at $40 because it's still sitting at 40 on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
It was only released 2 years ago. It looks pretty, but it is not worth full price. Although it is coming out on Switch, or it is out on Switch right now. So I don't know. Maybe it is a money laundering scheme. But
see, I just know that like so I'm looking at the Avengers like game website, and it appears to me that so when the game first came out, I remember people being like, "Yeah, they just didn't put Hawkeye in it." And but don't worry, because since then, since the game came out, they have put out 2 new characters. Guess who the 2 new characters are?
Were they both Hawkeye?
You how did you know?
Wait, no, what?
They're both. They were like, yeah. So when we released the game, we put all the Avengers in it except for Hawkeye. So far, we've released 2 DLC characters. They are both Hawkeye.
How? Why?
It's 2. It is 2 different Hawkeyes. Boy and girl, and they. I don't know. That's all. I don't know the difference. I haven't played the game. I got nothing.
That's so awful. I don't like at all that they released 2 characters and they were both Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh.
Can't wait for Hawkeye 3 to come out.
Finally, Hawkeye 3. It's what I've been waiting for, honestly.
That's
well,
probably a good spot to call it today.
Yeah, I'm ready to call it too. I just saw someone put a cupcake with frosting into a waffle iron and then act like that was a cool thing to do. So I think I'm about done for today.
That's a good reason to stop.
Thanks for listening this week, everybody. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, not Facebook. Don't check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter and Patreon. We got stuff happening. We got stuff rolling. It's a good time. Podcast be podcasting. Thank you for the support, everyone. Yada yada. We'll see you next week.